Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today, hopefully this is going to be a treat. Guys, when I first tasted this beer four years ago, I thought it was the tastiest beer I'd ever put in my mouth. And since then, the hype has grown and grown, and you got to be on the list to get it. And if you don't have to be on the list, they limit you to 1 or 2 bottles. Very hyped up beer in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of that. Like I said, when it first come out, I mean, you could buy a 6-pack or 2 of it, and now even where I buy this, when they limit you to 2 bottles, and it's just I'm not a big fan of that hype. I'm really not a big fan of that hype. I know they're probably trying to keep one guy from going in and buying all 4 cases of what they get, and selling it or trading it on the internet, and I can appreciate that, but still, you ought to at least be able to buy a 6-pack of it. I mean, come on. I mean, it just has so much hype to go with it, just like a lot of the other stuff that's got the big name following, Heady Topper and Pliny the Elder, or any of some of the Three Floyds beers and some of the New England beers, like Heady Topper and Lawson's Sip of Sunshine, and a lot of those beers people stand in line. I mean, even down in North Carolina for Sexual Chocolate, man, they're there 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and the place don't open up to 8, lined around the building down the street. There's so many beers that have that cult following. Unless you're and Sexual Chocolate, unless you're there, you don't get it. They don't ship that stuff out. You have to go stand in line to get your allotment of it. So I'm not a big fan of that. I'm really not. So, but I can understand where they're going. They're trying to keep 1 or 2 or a handful of people from buying it all up and either selling it on the black market or the internet or trading it all off to get other beers. But that's just the world we live in with the craft beers. When they hit on something good, it usually ends up being something like that, especially if they're a smaller brewery. You don't see people standing in line to buy Budweiser or Miller or Coors or any of that kind of stuff. But I can appreciate it, but I hate it. I hate it. Well, this one right here, I was able to get 2 bottles, and this one was bottled on January 10th of 2015. So this is a 2015 edition. I actually picked up a Hopslam glass. I'm going to probably do this beer review in it, and then that glass will end up back in the case back there. And from here on out, I'll probably just review the Hopslam beers in it if I can get my hands on it. Sometimes I can't get my hands on it. If it comes and goes, and I'm just SOL. So that is, unless you know somebody or are at the store at the right time, and you're able to pick up a bottle or 2, especially around here. That's the way it is around here. Now, the closer you get up to where Bell's is made, and they're out of Galesburg, Michigan, you can probably get your hands on a few more of these. But the distribution limits us down here in Virginia to what we can get and how many. So let's see if this one is as boozy as what the last few have been. I actually think I've actually cellared some of these beers and found it a little bit better after it had a year on it, but I'm not a big fan of cellaring IPAs and double IPAs. It's just the hops will fade. Sometimes the booziness will fade a little bit, but the hops definitely fade. So we're going to do this one fresh. It was bottled January 10th. So let's see what the 2015 edition brings on this one. Alright guys, the food pairings on this one, since it is a double IPA, and it changes up. They usually go from the curry and the Thai food to the barbecue. I don't know why that is. Just suggestions from this website. You can have this beer with whatever you like to eat and drink your IPA or double IPA with, that's what you should do. You shouldn't go by what somebody else says. Especially me. I'm just reading it off the website. And sometimes I'll add things that I think, like grilled meat stuff, is usually not in that category, because I like IPA with anything off the grill. Cuisines, barbecue, cheese of pepper, Monterey, pepper jack, sharp blue, cheddar, your more pungent cheeses. And the reason they're saying that, because these are stronger cheeses to go with this stronger beer. The meat for this is game, grilled meat, and salmon. Glass for a snifter tulip, oversized wine glass. I've got the official Bell's Hopslam glass here to drink this particular one out of. And it says here, since it is a big beer, this beer comes in at 10%. And they brew this beer with honey. Commercial description on this, let me read you that. Starting with 6 different hop varietals added to the brew kettle and culminating with a massive dry hop addition of Simcoe hops. I love Simcoe hops. Bell's Hopslam possesses the most complex hopping schedule in Bell's repertoire. Selected specifically because of their aromatic qualities, these Pacific Northwest hops contributed its pungent blend of grapefruit, stone fruit, and floral notes. A generous malt bill and a solid dollop of honey provide just enough body to keep the balance in check, resulting in a remarkably drinkable rendition of a double IPA. Well, let's see what the 2015 edition brings, guys. Let's pop the cap on this puppy and see what it's about. As of today, when I recorded this, there are 2 openers left. Got a new batch on the way in. 3 of them already sold because it didn't, and they're going over to the Netherlands, as a matter of fact. And those should be in this week, and I'm going to ship them out to the Netherlands. I've got a dark blue one and a yellow one. If you'd like either one of these, let me know. We'll fix you up. Into the glass we go. Let's go down the center on this 10%er. This glass has got the little Bell's hop cone on the side, and on this side it's got the Bell's Hopslam written on the glass there. So very nice glass. Not quite as thick and heavy duty as the solvent glass I use that Paris sent me, or the double glass that I use a lot of times on these beers, but figured it was appropriate. I seen the glass when I bought the beer, so I went ahead and got the glass. It wasn't an expensive glass. I think it was about $5. So that's about your average price on a decent glass, I would think. Alright, over into the light. It has quite a few bubbles stringing up. It's got a light haze to it. It's not perfectly clear, but I can see the bulb through the beer. Very good looking beer in the glass, guys. And it's brewed with honey, and they say a dollop, but I would say they would need more than that for it to come through in a great big tank that they brew it in. So, I mean, maybe it's a dollop per glass. What do you think? Let's get a nose on it. I'm getting the pine and the grapefruit, and there is some sweetness there, maybe from the honey. That's probably going to come out more in the taste than in the aroma. Doesn't smell as boozy as it has in the past. Now, the taste may reveal a complete different story. Nice sweet smell. I don't have the IBUs for this. Let me look here and see if it has it. Yep, it says 70 here for the IBUs, which isn't off the chain for a double IPA. I've seen them 100 plus for IBUs on your double IPA. So this is 70. I mean, a lot of single IPAs have that IBUs. So shouldn't be real super bitter. But like I said, previous couple years it's been kind of boozy. 10%, they can hide it better than that. So let's see what this one brings. Cheers, everybody. That's tasty. Slight hint of the alcohol, but to me not as much as it has been in the previous 2 years. Actually, it's pretty damn good. I'm impressed with this one. That is delicious. That is delicious. Maybe they're hearing all the fuss. I don't know. Maybe they don't care. But it's dated. It doesn't have the IBUs on it. It's got 10%. It's got the date on the back of the bottle. Ale brewed with honey. It's all it has on the front here. And bottled by Bell's. And that's it, basically. No IBUs or anything listed on here. Pretty tasty. I'm liking this one. More so than the previous 2 years, as I said. That's nice. That's real nice. Look at the lacing it's leaving on the glass. Very tasty, guys. If it didn't have the height and everything that goes with this particular beer, this is probably the most popular beer and hard to get your hands on beer that Bell's produces, maybe except for their Black Note Stout. So this is their most popular IPA, and the Black Note Stout is probably their hardest to get, most popular dark beer. So, very tasty. I'm enjoying this one. Not quite as boozy as it has been. This seems to be a good addition, a good variation of what I have had in the last 2 years. Very enjoyable. Well, let me take it back and let her have a sip or two out of it, and we'll come back and do the final chug. I'm liking this one better than the last 2 years, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. I'm impressed with this one. This one reminds me of the very first one that I had. Not overly boozy like the couple that I've had the last couple of years. This is a very nice, very pleasant double IPA. You can drink this fresh as I'm doing here. This is barely over a month old. And or you could sour it if you so choose. But just remember, on these IPAs and double IPAs, if you choose to sour it, the hops are going to fade. So I would recommend drinking it fresh, especially this year's edition. It's pretty tasty. It's not overly boozy as it has been in the past. So don't know what's different. And a lot of times when these brewers brew beers, they're brewing different batches. I mean, they may change something and then they may not, and it may end up boozier than the batch before. I mean, it all depends on how the fermentation works and how strong the yeast is, and if it does its job and everything comes together like it should. So sometimes you can do exactly the same thing and it doesn't taste the same as it did the time before. That's just the brewing process. Something can go wrong. Something can change. I mean, there's a whole lot of variables in that. You hope for the best, and 9 times out of 10 you can reproduce that same beer and it'll taste the same, but sometimes you don't. And I'm not sure that they didn't change it or didn't do something different last year or the year before. They may not have. But to me, it tasted different. It tasted boozy then. So not what I remember from the first, because my palate has changed over the years, especially since I started doing the craft beers. And when I first tasted it, I thought it was freaking awesome. I mean, it just blew me away. And then the next time I tried it, well, this doesn't taste quite the same. It's a lot more boozier than I remember. And then, you know, the year after, I'm going, what's going on here? This is not the same. And I was able to get 6-packs of it then, where now we're down to 2-bottle limit per person. So, but anyway, that's water under the bridge, and craft beer is what craft beer is. I enjoyed this one. The 2015 edition of the Hopslam is pretty damn tasty. Reminds me of what I had the first time I had it. So, cheers to everybody. Final chug. Bell's, cheers to you. Tastes pretty tasty this year. Very nice. Very balanced. The grapefruit is there. The pine is there. I'm getting the honey. A nice sweetness, not overly bitter. Very pleasant. Very, very pleasant. So, wouldn't mind picking up 2 more of these if I can get in the door and they'll let me have 2 more, which I kind of doubt. Might have to send somebody in, a little surveillance. Go in and get me 2 more, okay? It's like an old wino standing out in front of the ABC store going, "Hey, you buy me a bottle of whatever, I'll give you the money." That's what you got to do sometimes, and that's what they're trying to prevent. Trying to get one person or several people from buying everything up and doing their black market trade or eBay trades or whatever kind of trade they're doing, beer trades, and scoping scarping everything up. So it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers. 2-bottle limit. I guess that's probably all I'll get for this year. Got one more bottle in the fridge, and I'll probably have it within the next week or two, and share some of that with the other half. But 2015 edition of Hopslam seems to be pretty tasty, guys. I'm impressed with it. It reminds me of the very first one that I had. So let's go over to. I'm gonna give it the. Let's go ahead and give it the. Let's go ahead and give it to 10. It's deserving. This year is pretty impressive. I was on the fence between the 9 and the 10, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it to 10. It's pretty impressive. Bell's is a favorite brewery of mine, and kind of been disappointed in the last several editions of this, especially all the hype that surrounds this beer. Not a big fan of the hype, guys. So, well, over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 99, world class, no doubt about it. It most definitely is. Very tasty beer. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says overall 100 and 100 in the style. So 99, 100, and 100, and 100 for me, guys. So pretty tasty. Very impressed with this year's edition. If you've had this year's edition, 2015, let me know what you think. Let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow, guys. Come on back. We'll walk in there and see what's in there together. See you then.